Hi everyone, this is Allison with Ambassador, here today to talk to you a little bit about a subject that can be a little bit divisive when it comes to wine, and that is sediment. So for those of you that are not familiar with sediment, you're typically going to find it in wines that are on the older end of the spectrum, wines that have been aged for quite a while. And really what you're going to see, and I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it here, but on this cork, this is a cork that I pulled from our 2013 Estate Syrah. There is definitely sediment that has acquired on the end of this cork. And to some degree, although you may not really be able to see it, there's definitely some sediment on the inside of the neck of this bottle. So what is sediment? Essentially, it's a leftover product or a byproduct of uh, different crystals like tartaric acid. So tartrate crystals that have formed in the wine, it may consist of pieces of what they call the spent lees, which is essentially just yeast that's left over in there. These compounds tend to combine, they tend to become heavy, they fall out of the wine, and they form this sediment that sits at the bottom of the barrel, or depending on how that wine is positioned in your cellar, it can definitely form at the neck because you're keeping that cork nice and wet, particularly as you're aging that wine. So some people look at this and they see a flaw in the wine. And I want to be really, really clear about this. Sediment is absolutely not a flaw. It's an entirely natural process. It's a very common process that occurs in wines. Again, you're going to see this in older wines, and it has no impact on the wine in terms of its taste or its quality. So some people see this and they think, ugh, yuck, sediment. It's perfectly safe to consume it. It may not be particularly enjoyable to consume it, but it's not going to hurt you and it's not going to impact the flavor of that wine. You may taste it or you may feel it in your mouth and it may feel slightly gritty. And, again, that may not be so enjoyable, but there are things that you can do basically to filter out this sediment. That's why it's such a common practice to really decant older wines, because you're trying to really get rid of that sediment in addition to introducing some more oxygen into the wine. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. For those of you out there that see sediment and think, oh, better toss that bottle, don't do that. It's actually a really good sign that that bottle is aging appropriately and doing exactly what it should be doing. So if you see wine and a cork that looks like this, or you see some of that grittiness, hanging out in your glass, go ahead and enjoy it. It means it's probably got a good wine on your hands.